thing working? I think it is. Let's try this. Sounds a little off. Maybe it's just me. I could be a little off. Anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in to this Fandom Empire special. I'm your host, Sean. Appreciate you guys taking the next hour to hour and a half of your night to talk about. Let me make sure this thing is working right, because I'm not getting the sound quality I'm used to through the headset. Hello. Yeah, it's working. Alrighty. What a way to start tech issues. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. We're going to address some pretty, what I would call very serious issues around the YouTube and podcast and social media community. I think these are things that, some people might roll their eyes at and not, they might not think there's any level of importance to it. And we as a team, I guess, Fandom Empire, are going to address this tonight. Right off the top, I want to let you guys know how this is going to work. So how this works tonight is this. Any super chats that come in tonight are going to be redirected to the individual we're talking about. Now, if you want to send a super chat that's specifically meant to the channel, make sure in the super chat you include that. But otherwise, they're all going to the individual we're going to talk about. This individual has agreed to come on, not tonight, but in the next few weeks or when they're comfortable to address their situation. And that'll be a show you'll want to tune into. But for now, again, the way this is going to work, if you have any super chats that you want to send in, send them in. And if you want them specifically addressed to the chat or given to the channel, address that in your super chat. Otherwise, everything is going to this individual. Joining me for this episode, which I promise in the back half of the episode or the last quarter of the episode, we'll get to some fun stuff. Like making fun of Tommy's glasses or Johnny's fake apartment backdrop that he has that is clearly not his. We'll get all to that stuff. It's not going to be all... I don't want to call it a downer because that's not the proper way of wording it. But obviously very serious issues at hand. This isn't news per se. This stuff has been going on forever. And, despite this episode, will continue to go on. But I think it's important to bring awareness to these sort of situations. First up, he's the number 2 here at Fandom Empire. Tommy B, what's happening, man? Or shall I call you... I'll get the fun out of the way now. Earlier today, I thought you were doing your best Hannibal Lecter, the Mickelson version impression. How's it going, man?
I'm hanging in there, taking the day as it comes, you know what I'm saying. How about you?
Hanging in there, dude. Hanging in there. Also joining us today from his fake apartment in, Dublin, Ireland. It's Gianni. What's happening, man?
Why in the heck of all places would you pick Dublin, Ireland?
I don't know. It's what came to mind.
No, man, I'd say I'm excited to be here, but, these circumstances don't lend themselves specifically to excitement, so, I'm glad to talk about this.
Yeah,
more accurate sentiment.
Because I think it's fair to say what we're going to talk about, you and I experienced more of this in high school than, say, online. We've experienced a little bit or sort of similar things to this online, but never, but not to this extent, in my opinion. Take that bandage off your hand. Yeah, I know, my hand's still swollen. Also, because I know a bunch of people in this chat have been messaging me about it, and it's my own fault because I posted it online. I will address why I was in the hospital, and to be frank, why I'm not out of the woods later on in the show. The focus is not about me. The focus is going to be on this individual, and I'm going to read this individual's initial message because I've had permission to do so. So here we go, guys. Again, I know we usually come on here, we talk Halloween and Star Wars and Supernatural, and I promise The last quarter of this show, we'll get to that stuff. We'll have some fun with that stuff. We'll end on a positive note. But right now, there's something else that needs all of our attention. If you want to share our live link, our live YouTube link, I don't think we ever ask our audience to do that. If there was an episode to share the live YouTube link of our show, this is the episode. I promise we're going to try to pay attention to what's going on in the chat, and we'll go from there. All right, let me pull this up. So earlier today, I received a message from somebody who listens to this program or watches this program a lot. Somebody who has followed us from the time that we were at named Fandom Cantina, the times we were at Channel 1138, the times we were at Star Wars Wastelands. This person has been a long time follower of what we do here. And, you know, and I know this person's watching right now. So I'm going to do my best to respect their wishes and follow along. Again, this is not scripted. We're going to do our best to sort of navigate this while respecting this individual's wishes. Anyways, I had this message delivered to me this afternoon. Hi there, Sean. I watch your channel all the time. Love what you guys do. Thank you for being Thank you for being genuine people who care about your audience. I wanted to reach out to you about my experience with my own podcast group. I won't say which podcast it is, but you probably already know given who I am. I'd appreciate it if you kept my name and podcast out of it for now, but if you'd like, you can address this publicly. Maybe help provide awareness. My friends have recently become popular in the Star Wars fandom. We used to do things together all the time. I was part of a crew, and it's like we were family for years. Then recently, my podcast mates formed a new connection, and we're getting all sorts of new information on new Star Wars stuff. But their new guy doesn't like me. He made fun of my voice and called me a weak link. Since then, my podcast mates, for years, have now ignored me. They've completely shut me out. I thought they were my best friends, and they've ghosted me just like that for this guy and fame. I'm gutted. It may sound overboard, but I'm heartbroken and depressed, and have even had horrible thoughts in my head. I don't understand why this happened. I don't know what I can do to fix this. I'm sorry to go on about this, but I watch your channel and super chat once in a while, and I love what you guys do and seem to support one another. Thank you for providing me with some hope during these dark times. If you want to bring this up on air, I would love it, truly. If not, I understand. Thanks for hearing me out. Now look, I would love to sit here and say every one of us has experienced a situation where they've been bullied in life, but not everybody does. Some people can go through life without being bullied. Most of us, though, are not that lucky. Most of us have encountered some individual or some group of people who want to make life harder for others. I got worked up earlier today reading this, and on top of everything else going on. And I'm going to do my best to not get worked up now. This person is going to come on this program and address this themselves in the near future. My initial thoughts on this, and then I'll hand it over to you guys, is kind of what I said off the top. This isn't unprecedented. This stuff happens way too much. I know some people who might be the hard-skinned and the tough guy who doesn't wear his heart on the sleeve might be like, oh, he's just being a little oversensitive or he's reading into it the wrong way. No, he isn't. No, he isn't at all. Because that's not how you treat people. I'm not sitting here wearing a crown saying I'm the best, human being alive. And we'll get to that in a bit. But I feel for this person. Nobody should have to go through this. And, I have a saying that I go back to a lot, guys. And, the hardest thing in the world isn't to become rich or to find fame or to even be successful. I would argue in today's world, 2020, and even the years prior, the hardest thing to find is true loyalty. And it just doesn't seem to exist anymore. Johnny, you're just finding out about this over the last couple of hours. You and I went to school together all of our lives. I know this probably hits a spot with you because I went through stuff like this in high school, just like you did. Just what are your thoughts before we take a deep dive into what goes on in these social media and podcast and YouTube communities?
I mean, it's an unfortunate reality that, a lot of us face in this day and age. And, it's a story as old as time, really. This isn't a new thing. It's a horrible thing. It's the worst thing you can do to another human being, and it's all too common, and it just, the worst thing you can ever hear someone say is someone else saying something like, you're imagining it, or it's not really happening, and you're exaggerating, or you're overselling, you're overblowing something, or you're like, what, the simple fact is you are the author of your own emotions. Nobody else is. And anybody trying to tell you how you should feel or how you feel is just, well, they're being an ass. I mean, are there times in everyone's life where, our closest friends, our inner circle, kind of have to pull back the reins a bit and say, dude, you're overreacting right now. And there are people that you can take that from and be like, maybe you're right. Maybe I am, and walk you through the steps and get you to a place where, your reaction might be a bit more normal for you, because everybody responds differently, and the people around you know that. And hearing somebody close to you tell you you're exaggerating or you're overblowing things is, you're imagining it. They're not real friends. They're not. Because no matter what it is, you feel it. I mean, will a friend sit you down if that is actually occurring? Sure. They'll talk you through it and help you, maybe try and see that, you are not, things aren't quite the way they appear to you because you're too close to it sometimes. But someone telling you that's not how you should feel is just, what, being an ass.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think it goes even further than that, but that's a good thing to, a good place to start with. Tommy, look, well, you're number 2 here at Fandom Empire, and we've now known each other, it's got to be, this is year 6, I would believe, I think. We didn't know each other through high school. There's an age difference. Obviously, you, alongside Johnny and I, experienced stuff similar to this, but not to this extent with online communities. Just what are your thoughts on the situation, and did you yourself have to persevere through anything like this in school? If you don't want to address that personal subject, I understand, but where are you with this, man?
I don't need to talk about anything specific tonight. That could be another time. I've dealt with my own challenges at times throughout middle school and high school. I like to think people are capable of being very beautiful beings. The fact is they're also capable of being very bad. So throughout this whole thing, I found my mind revisiting a few things. Johnny, you summed it up pretty well in, you're the author of your own emotions. Far too often, and none of us are exempt from this, we too fall into this trap. We may see it necessary to invalidate the emotions that another may be feeling. We all do it sometimes. That's a problem, and we need to work better and do better. The fact is, it's like, who the hell are you for trying to say that you shouldn't feel this way, you shouldn't have this reaction for whatever the circumstance may be? What good is that? That does the person who is feeling no good. Whether in schooling, whether in social circles that are in the real world, quote unquote, whether on online communities like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, I don't know, whatever else we want to throw out there. The tendency to form cliques is a very human and often very unfortunate thing. We have to strive better for a better sense of not tolerance, because I don't like that word the most. It's not my favorite word, tolerance. Inclusion and egalitarian and equity. Those are words I like using. We just need to be open to all people as they are, rather than expecting them to be something that they're not. We can't just go with the flow, go with the hottest thing, as tempting as it may be at times. I think that's enough to get us started.
Yeah, no, I think you guys make very valid and astute points. Sorry, this is a difficult subject. I and Johnny can concur with most of this. When I was in elementary school, I was definitely one of the big fish in a small pond. And then you go to high school and you find out that the big fish in the small pond is not necessarily the big fish in the big pond. And bullying happens, and you see allegiances change. And you see people that were your friends turn against you just to be cool. And I went through bullying in high school. And I know Johnny did. And much like Frank's story in the chat, I remember getting suspended once because I slammed a guy who thought he could push me around emotionally and physically whenever he wanted, just to be cool. And one day I'd had enough and basically grabbed him up by the neck here, and into the locker he went a few times, and I got suspended for it. And to be honest, considering past things, I'm surprised the police weren't called, even though that might not seem like a arrestable offense by any means. The tendency up here with schools is the slightest minor thing happens, we got to call the police. But bringing it back to online communities, guys, this is the way it's going to work. I want to let everybody know. I know I sort of touched on it briefly. This is what I've done. We have so much going on at Fandom Empire right now, so much coming up. Our September schedule, which will be unveiled, our September through basically spring schedule will be unveiled next week, very early next week, in a nice little graphic done by Slade. We're really sort of bloated with our programming. We don't have much space to do much else. But what I have done is I've asked this individual if they'd like to start a new podcast of their own and have it here on Fandom Empire. And we would host, no charge whatsoever, and help them out with promoting their new podcast and content. And sometimes you got to start fresh. And in this case, he's been given no choice. He's been kicked out without reason. And so this individual has the option of coming on here and starting their own podcast here. So any super chat money that comes in today, unless stated otherwise, is going to go towards this individual being able to, whether it's paying for a Podbean for himself if he goes to decides to go another way, whether it's logo creation or anything else he might need. The super chat money that comes in today, which obviously won't be available till September sometime, will go to this individual. Again, this individual is going to be on this channel when he feels ready to talk about it. It'll be Johnny and Tommy's discretion whether they want to be on, if he wants someone else on. You know, it's tough. It's tough, guys. Now, we're going to take some time and talk about things that maybe you can do to prevent some of these situations from happening. One, being with the right people absolutely makes a difference. Look, this YouTube channel, well, to most of you guys, is very new, has in fact been around since 2018. This YouTube channel started under the name The Fandom Cantina, with a bunch of wonderfully gifted, talented people. But sometimes you're not, you rush to do something, right? You rush to go get something started without properly dotting your I's or crossing your T's. And I'm not saying this is what happened with this individual, because it's not. He knew these guys for years and years. However, this happens to a lot. I mean, this happened to me, and I'm partially to blame for it. This channel started as Fandom Cantina. And, you know, we brought basically anybody who was willing in instead of doing our homework. And while all gifted people in their right mind, all gifted people themselves, sometimes the puzzle pieces, like when you construct a sports team or anything else, just don't fit. Do you know how many podcasts or YouTube channels launch that are dead after one episode or one video? I'll tell you how many. There are more podcast and YouTube channels that are dead or done after one or two videos than there are podcast and YouTube channels that go on. And that's just a fact. That's why some people settle, not that it's a bad thing, maybe settle's a bad word to use, but that's why some people, pardon me, decide to do it themselves. Because then, if they have the ability to do it themselves, they're not depending on anybody else. But not everybody has that luxury. And the mistake we made at Fandom Cantina was we didn't make sure all the puzzle pieces fit. And me, as the guy at the top of the totem pole, sorry for the expression, that's on me. You know, as much as it's on the other people for decisions they made, you know, right or wrong, that was on me. And we prematurely launched. And Johnny, I don't think you were a part of Fandom Cantina at the beginning because of an issue, and I'll be blunt, that Johnny and I had personally. You can have personal issues with someone no matter how deep it is, and with time and patience, eventually find your way back on some level. I'm not saying the people that have done this to this individual aren't going to turn a new leaf, aren't going to realize the error of their ways, because they could. People, believe it or not, can in fact change. It's whether you want to change or not. Because if you don't want to change, nothing's going to happen for you. In a nutshell, we had two people that basically held the channel hostage with Fandom Cantina. And were doing all the editing for us. And it was almost kind of like the false story you hear about Guns N' Roses, where they basically wanted the channel handed over to them, with me just a part of it, or they weren't going to edit any of the material that we'd given them. One guy was also given quite a bit of money for graphics, which he did not finish. And, you know, that... those things happen. That's why you see, if you go look back at our catalog here, you have, oh, hey, Fandom Cantina is active in the end of 2018. And all of a sudden, oh, wait, they're gone till, late 2019? What the hell? What happened there? Choosing the right people to do projects with is extremely important. And there's more to get into here. There really is. For me, guys, whether it was the stuff we went through at 1138, which I don't think was anywhere close to being this bad, but still had its, in the end, some very wrong decisions were made. The stuff that happened at the beginning of Fandom Cantina, they remind me of what this guy is going through. And I can't stress enough, if you're going to start a podcast, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, pick the right people to do it with. And if you're not sure you have the right people, then either A, do it yourself, or B, wait until you do have the right people. I'm just going to say this now. There's an epic rant coming. And Mike Myers in the chat, normally I put up with the ... that you post all the time. Today's not the fucking show to do that, dude. So you're not Michael Myers. You're some guy behind a keyboard and a screen. Either take this seriously or get the fuck out. That simple. Tommy, you have seen it all. You were a part of said channel that we talked about before Johnny and I ever became a part of it. You went from helping different hosts out. You were a behind-the-scenes PR guy. You got more experience technically than McMahon and I do at this stuff. You've obviously seen some shit over the years. I know you've seen some shit go down with our buddy Dave Gramillion, that we won't dive into that situation specifically, but you've seen a lot of shit when it comes to this stuff. Maybe just tell people some of the things that you've seen without, throwing anybody under the bus, and how people can avoid getting into those situations.
I would first like to object to that a little bit, because this past year, however long it's been, has really been a learning process. I've learned a few things, but you, Sean, have learned a hell of a lot more than me, learning these different streaming platforms and such. I can do a few things with them, but I can't do the stuff you do. So technical, I think you're the whiz. Now,
I'm the whiz, and I'm...
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that. That was bad.
Look, I'm not gonna drop any names because this stuff is long over, and as far as I'm concerned, a lot of it is, hopefully, for those who were involved, just memories. And I was involved on different levels and different items. But throughout the various projects I've been part of, in, for the most part, the Star Wars fan community, certain circles of that. But they dipped into other things at times as well. I think what is one of the worst tragedies, if you will, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about being cliquey. You get in these little teeny tiny micro groups and you think they're your best buddies, and well, everyone else can, I like to usually say it more comically, but everyone else can just go fuck themselves. I've seen that happen a lot. And honestly, the way it happens is pretty damn heartbreaking. In situations not unlike what our friend is going through at this time. I've even seen things go legal or nearly legal on a few instances. And that's when we get a little, just in my opinion, not too far, not too at the point where it invalidates an individual's, feelings and beliefs and what have you. Just that it's showing that what happens when these situations are allowed to just fester and become something that they should never been. really, it all comes back to what I was saying earlier in that, and you added on to it. As people, we need to try to do better. We need to do better by those we may call, whether we call them, I call people friends. I talk with a bunch of y'all on here more than I talk to most people I know in real life, with a few exceptions. So we need to be good for them. We need to do better. I don't like that T word, tolerate, because that makes it sound like it's an inconvenience on my part. No, I want to do better for them so they can feel affirmed, comfortable, and what have you, as they are for who they are. We don't need to be doing any of this. Oh, well, yeah, they're XYZ, but they're okay, I guess. I'm not up for that. I don't swing that way.
Off topic here, Tommy. Turns out chat moderator Frank Riker is from your neck of the woods.
Is that right, Frank?
New Jersey.
Oh, well, it's been a while since I've lived in Jersey, but yeah, born and raised, unfortunately. I grew up in Gloucester County, about a half hour outside of Philadelphia, give or take.
Yeah, so let's recap here because a lot's going on. We're going to let Johnny chime in here too. This is what's happened. A fairly close person to Fandom Empire, who has supported us over the years, has just gone through a horrible ordeal where his podcast mates for years have literally they found a source or a new person that had inside scoops and stuff in the Star Wars community, and this new person didn't like one of the podcast mates, the one that supports Fandom Empire, and they cut him out because this guy didn't like his voice and thought he was a weak link, and he got shafted. It's online abuse. It's one thing changing your podcast team or YouTube team. Those things happen when it's properly handled. But to ghost someone, to put them through abandonment, is a form of abuse, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, and nobody deserves to go through that. And so on this episode, this isn't even an episode, it's a special. Any super chat that comes in, unless stated otherwise, we are redirecting over to this individual. This individual has an offer on the table from Fandom Empire to bring his podcast over here if he chooses to start a new podcast and start fresh. Obviously, when doing these things, not starting overnight is a good idea. You want to put some thought into it. So I never ask anybody to super chat. We let you know that it's an option. But if there was ever a night to send in $1 or $2 or $5 or whatever to someone who deserves it, it's this guy. Because this guy, look, when you run a podcast or a YouTube channel, you are putting your own money into the project more often than not. Someone, usually multiple people, are putting heavy amounts of finances into this stuff. Yeah, there are some podcasts that don't cost any money and they're just recorded on a phone or something. But that's not the case with these guys at all. No, it's a fairly well-known podcast. And again, if there was a time to do it now, this is probably the episode to do it. Johnny, you've seen it all. We started at Wastelands. We went through a host change at Wastelands, and that lasted all of, a month and a half. And the guy, it wasn't an excuse. It wasn't okay. Well, I'm moving to North Korea or South Korea, whatever one it was. The person legitimately did move out of the blue. And he had some personal issues going on for sure. And then we seen what happened in the fallout of 1138 and why we left. And where are you when it comes to getting involved with the right group and how you can avoid circumstances like this happening?
Unfortunately, it is difficult to do. Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. You can work with family, you can work with close long-term friends, but even those relationships aren't infallible. You made point of our own issues in the past, and it just proves the point that anyone can have issues, no matter how long they've been friends or how long they've known each other, or whether they're family or not. You have issues with your family, I have issues with my family. Show me someone who, the Brady Bunch is not a real family. Leave It to Beaver is not a real family. Not in this day and age. If you find a family like that, it's the oddity, not the everyday. And it's nearly impossible to inoculate yourself from that. It's unfortunate. I mean, yes, you can do this with friends and family, and the degree of difficulty to have a split like that is definitely higher. But that of course affects your life outside of the podcast just as much as it does the podcast itself. And there's this. It's an unfortunate reality of the era we find ourselves in. Some people are just going to do that. The path to fame is often littered with ruined friendships. And the fact is, very few people who embark on that path end up at the pinnacle. And it's extremely unfortunate, but it's a reality for some people that they will sacrifice anyone and everyone in the pursuit of popularity. And in reality, it's almost meaningless. What is it? I mean, sure, there are people who can, podcast and make content and support themselves on it financially, and good for them. Would I like to be in that situation myself? Sure, absolutely. Talking about things you love and doing the things you love and making a living on it. Sure, that's the dream, that's the goal. But I'm not gonna sacrifice people at the altar of my ego. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's an unfortunate reality that we face. That people will sacrifice their friends, sacrifice anyone really at the altar of their ego. And when you become famous and popular, realize that you're standing there by yourself. And I say that's a fate far worse than fame, is being famous with no one to stand beside you, stand with you. What is that? Fame is fleeting. It really is. How many big people have we seen rise and fall in the modern streaming era? It's changed so much, but really the lifespan is very short. They come, they go. It's like rock music. I mean, really, it's like music is in general. The one-hit wonders of podcasting and streaming are just as numerous as the one-hit wonders you hear on your radio.
No, it absolutely is. Tommy, Johnny, I'm going to ask you to strap yourselves in for a second, because I'm going to have a moment here. If there was a time to maybe lower the volume on your headset, now might be it. Okay, so I'm going to address a few things here, and I'm going to let everybody know ahead of time. These two that are on here with me know that I can rant. And sometimes during my rants, certain things I say can become laughable, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'm going to address a few fucking things here, because I've had myself a week here, and I'm just going to get it all off my chest. And I'm gonna go over the things. There's 4 I know for sure I'm going to tackle. Some of them have to do with this individual and what he went through, and some of them have to do with, and I don't think Tommy or Johnny knows this, Fandom Empire got called out this morning by a member of a Facebook community page, a very popular Halloween one. And look, some people say, they just say, who cares what anybody else says? And, that's okay to an extent. But if someone is accusing you of something you're not doing, that's where you can take issue with it. So this morning, on a very popular Facebook community page, group page, a Halloween page to be specific, we were called out, Fandom Empire as a whole, as being bad for the Halloween community, and what we do ruins the fan base. How the fuck are we bad for the Halloween community and fan base? Literally, and I don't know what it is with people going to this. Everyone either has to go to, oh, well, you only have this many subscribers, or, oh, you only have this many Twitter followers, whatever. And, like, I literally called the fucker out. I legitimately said, please explain to me how Fandom Empire is bad for the Halloween community. By the way, and he didn't even know who I was, by the way. I'm like, by the way, I'm the primary guy you see in those videos. And he said, all you guys do is you go out there on your YouTube channel, speculate, get nothing right, and what you do speculate, you end up spoiling for other people. So if we get nothing right, how the fuck are we spoiling shit for other people, you stupid, dumbass, goddamn motherfucker, as Dexter and Offspring would say? Like, really? I literally said to him, get your fucking facts straight, pal. Yeah, I'm sorry for the language right now. Apologies. I'm pissed. I got a lot on my chest. I'm going to get it off. Are we perfect? No. Have we slipped now and then with a spoiler? I don't think we have. I don't think we've accidentally spoiled something without spoiler warning, but we might have. And if we did, then that's on me, and I apologize for it. But 9 times out of 10, we're issuing warnings. Okay, if you don't want to know this, now's the time to tune out. He got on us about our Halloween Kills mask reveal. Guess what? We didn't post the masks on social media. I could have had it all over my fucking Twitter. I didn't. Could have had it all over our Facebook page. We didn't. We didn't even have the bloody masks in the thumbnail for the reveal show. Okay, people on Patreon get to see them, yeah. And other people eventually got to see them. But I think when we were doing that mask reveal, and Tommy, I think you tuned into that one. I think you watched the whole thing. I think I warned people like 5 fucking times, hey, if you don't want the mask ruined for you and you want to experience it in all of its glory in a trailer or on a poster or in the movie theater, now's the time to tune out. And it's just a prime example, is it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. If somebody doesn't like you or us, they're going to make up whatever they fucking want to try to belittle you or put you down. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how factual you are. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. People are going to literally make shit up to try to get under you. Now, friend of the channel, Dave McCrae, says this a lot. And I've heard him say it, and him and I have talked about it. YouTube, and this applies for podcasts too, but I think it's a little more at the forefront with YouTube than podcast, is not for everybody. Yeah, you have to have some level of thick skin, and I think we do. Not everybody wants to put themselves out there. There are people, like it or not, this is a prime example of what's wrong with the world, that will tune into this channel and judge the 3 of us in 10 seconds as, hey, there's 2 overweight guy and a guy with glasses that might look a little nerdy. Fuck these guys. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm out of here. Because that's how society works. It's bullshit. But that's the way so many individuals look at it. Oh, hey, there's some fucking what I just said about the 3 of us. Well, I'm not going to watch them when I could watch this half-naked girl or half-naked guy do something similar, but with far less creative content. That's just the way shit works. And it sucks. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to apologize to the guy we spoke about earlier here for what I'm about to say. Some people would, if they were, stereotyping him, would call him more of a nerdy individual. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I can be a nerdy individual. I'm also a jockey individual. I fucking love sports. Johnny loves sports. It is what it is. But people are so on top of wanting to judge a book by its cover immediately. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have 100,000 followers or we have 2,000 followers. It doesn't matter if when this individual, if he decides to start a new podcast and or YouTube channel, whether he's on his own or whether he comes on to Fandom Empire, whether he has as big of a fan base as his old show has, or not. At the end of the day, if someone is creating content, it doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't even mean you have to respect it. But you don't have to go out of your way to turn it into some sort of personal attack to justify your own wants and needs. Because that shit is bullshit. It is. I can't fucking stand it. Here's what... So I talked to someone else about this issue. And this person and I, you're probably not going to see this person on the channel anytime soon, said, quote, and this is Tommy and Johnny's first time hearing this. Well, you know, man, that's sorry to hear, but, you know, they got to do what's best for the show, so sucks to be that guy. And my response was, really? That's your response? Somebody that I know, this person knows that individual too. That's your fucking response? Again, what did I say at the beginning? The hardest fucking thing to find in this world isn't to become rich or to become famous. It's true goddamn loyalty. And just like if my mindset, hey, Tommy, you know what, man? I really don't like that that you're the biggest Last Jedi fan in the world, and because of that, we're going to have to go on without you because your line of thinking doesn't line up with how I feel. Because we'll be more successful without a Last Jedi fan on this show. Like, are you kidding me? I don't get off where people... I don't understand where people get off with this line of thinking. And lastly, last but not least, accountability. Let's talk. I promise, guys, we're going to talk Halloween. We're going to talk Supernatural. We're going to talk Star Wars. We're going to talk Halloween Kills. We got about 40 minutes left in the show or so. If either of these guys got to opt out, they can. I'm sticking around to the end. Accountability. Here's some accountability, okay? Hang on, before I get there. So, these individuals that did this to this guy are taking no accountability for what they did. You know, it's one thing to change your show, but to never actually address it, and to not address it publicly on the show as if your audience isn't going to notice, oh, hey, what happened to what's-his-face? Like really? Show some accountability. Say that you're making these changes for whatever reason you're making them for, and proceed about your business. And maybe reach out to the guy who's been a friend to you for over half a decade and apologize to him about the way things went and figure out how to do it properly. Here's another thing with accountability. So tonight, the three of us were supposed to be on here reviewing a Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, which never dropped. Reports came out from a show, and this show, which I'm not going to name, but if you look at the thumbnail, you might be able to figure it out, was adamant that we were getting the trailer today. And to my knowledge, has not happened, and to my knowledge, isn't going to happen. And Frank Riker is right. Animals are better than people. It's sad but true. More often than not, animals are better than most people. Anyways, this show reported the podcast was coming. This same show, even though they have no relationship with another Star Wars show, bashed the Star Wars show for no reason, out of nowhere, because they thought the personalities on the other Star Wars show were, oh, well, here's two bland personalities. Why does anybody watch them? It's like, How about you focus on your own fucking content instead of firing torpedoes at other shows who've never said a goddamn thing about you? Now, I have more self-respect for the people on this show than to just call out this other show by name. But I sent Tommy the message a bit ago, a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago. I don't remember. But they just completely threw this other show under the bus. And to their credit, this show has gotten a bunch of Star Wars scoops right recently. But a couple of times I noticed that they haven't gotten them right. And I've noticed there hasn't really been any accountability about it. So when it came out the trailer was not dropping for The Mandalorian Season 2 trailer tonight, everybody starts tweeting them. Well, you said this. Johnny keeps losing his arm. Oh, good one, Michael. Yes, I see it. He keeps getting his arm cut off by a virtual lightsaber. Anyways, a bunch of people started tweeting at them, and they started getting defensive. Oh, well, we never reported that this was going to happen. And I was already in a dick mood at that point, okay? I follow a lot of social media stuff when it comes to reports on stuff that we follow because it's part of our job. It's part of doing this. And so I posted some photos of them, in fact, saying it was. And I'm like, so, what's going on? And basically, even though there were photos that I posted of them tweeting this, they still denied it. So you're willing to take all the credibility in the world for when you get something right, but you're willing to take no accountability when you get something wrong. Here's how you take accountability. Learn a lesson if you happen to be tuning in, because I just so happen to share it on a page that I know you two fuckers follow. Last year, I think it was last year, before filming it began, we reported that the chances were strong that Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills. Did those talks happen? Yes, they did. Is there connections there? Yes, there's Jake Gyllenhaal has connections to David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis. It made sense because Paul Rudd had fallen through. Why they wanted Paul Rudd to begin with, we could do a whole episode on that. I'm not really sure because it doesn't line up. But there was talks. Anthony Michael Hall was choice number 3. But we got ahead of ourselves and reported that basically it was almost a done deal. Guess what happened? It fell through, and literally the day that Anthony Michael Hall was announced, I was out there on social media saying, well, we got that one wrong. I apologize. You have hits and miss. No one's giving them shit for getting things wrong. That's part of this business, whether you have 100,000 followers, 25,000 followers, 250 followers, or 10 followers. If you're going to address rumors and scoops, you're going to get some stuff right and you're going to get some stuff wrong, and that's okay. You know, whether you're 90% right, which I believe that's right around where this channel is most of the time. I think we're really high on the shit that we get right. But guess what? We get stuff wrong too. And when we do, we own up to it. But to have no accountability and then to attack your own viewers and followers because they're calling you out for having no accountability? Like, again, if you're thinking about joining the online community, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, podcast, YouTube, Tic-Tac Talk, whatever the fuck it's called, any of that shit, okay? This is the cesspool that you're dealing with. You can try to avoid it, but eventually you're going to run into it. There is a sense, and Thomas, I know you and I have talked at length about this word, of inclusiveness in specifically when it comes to the Star Wars community. Not as much in the horror community. I find most of the horror community is really good about talking to others. I won't lie. There's a couple of horror channels that have big timed us and more or less, you know, without saying so, hey, look at your followers. We don't really have an interest of doing anything with you. And that's fine. Whatever. I get it. But with the Star Wars community, the three of us have had a front row seat to the inclusiveness of, well, look at us, and we have these scoops for this movie, and we're gonna be, just all, in with our. Thomas said it earlier. Clicks are gonna exist. There's nothing wrong with clicks. That happens. It's another thing when you turn your back on other people or cut other people out because of, you being able to gain some short-term fame. There's a really fucking popular Star Wars site that was breaking stuff for the last half a decade. He did something wrong and something stupid, and whether he recovers from that, I don't know. But the people that are claiming to never have supported him or are not using his sources now, when in fact they are, and they did support him because that's where they got their start. Like, guys, there's nothing wrong if you're supporting someone and it turns out that person's not who you thought they were, and then you leave shit, but don't fucking lie about it, because guess what? You're going to get fucking caught. At the end of the day, guys, if you're starting a YouTube channel, all the power to you. I don't know, like, I get some of you guys that say, I miss Spooky Leave. Apologize for that, Spooky. Hope you have a good night. At the end of the day, if you're starting a YouTube channel or a podcast, you need to be aware of these things. Because if you don't have some thick skin, or you're not a big fucking mouth like me, you're going to run into some of these issues. You are. It's sad, but true. And I can tell you the way Fandom Empire operates is we have our door open to basically anybody and everybody. If we can help, then we'll help. Because we've been given help by others. We've been turned away by a lot of people too, but there are people that have helped us. I apologize for my rant and calling TikTok Tic-Tac Talk. I've been informed privately it's just TikTok. Johnny and Tommy, your thoughts on that rant and just in general the toxicity that exists in fandoms, more specifically online communities, and what to do, and then we'll jump into some fun discussion. Don't care who goes first. Glasses guy or cut off arm guy, doesn't matter.
I'll go. I think the worst thing that has ever happened to humanity is the internet. Because
it's up there. It's up there.
Because it's anonymous. It's so anonymous. And that's the problem. I mean, I'm personally a firm believer of, if I won't say it to your face, I won't say it online. Because what's the point? If I don't have the conviction of my words, what's the point of saying them? If I watch your show and I think it sucks, I'll tell you it sucks. If you watch my show and tell me it sucks because you truly believe that, that's perfectly okay.
But I feel like you would also tell the person, I know you well enough to, if you don't know the person, yeah. And I also think if you don't know the person well, you're probably not saying it sucks. I know how you deal with people you don't know, and I'm
general.
Yeah, you might be more along the lines of, hey, this isn't really good, and here's how it can be better.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm generalizing and broad stroking in a way that conveys the point I'm trying to make. Constructive criticism just doesn't sound the same as posting on a YouTube channel saying, "Dude, this sucks." Because sometimes it just does. We've done that. We've recorded episodes. We've done episodes. We've recorded things that the next day, it happened many times when we were back doing Wastelands, where we'd do a show and then the next day you and me or me and Mondo, or all three of us would be like, "Dude, last night fucking sucked. We were awful." And we're okay with that.
Dude, I went back once you and Tommy started to come on the YouTube side of things, not just our podcasts and stuff. I told you, I went back and I watched the first listened to the first episode of Wastelands in 2015. My God, it was fucking shit. It was terrible. Was there some okay content in there? Yep. but the audio quality was horrible, and it was 3 completely inexperienced people having a train wreck online. No one's, first of all, like one of our old teachers used to tell you and I don't believe in perfection. I don't believe in practice makes perfect, but I do believe practice and experience makes you better if you're paying attention.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. You know, Wayne Gretzky had to learn how to skate. You know, Tom Brady had to learn how to throw a football. Michael Jordan had to learn how to shoot a basket. You know, I could keep going and keep going and keep going, but everybody starts at zero. It's life. You know, everybody comes out of, you know, their mother crying. You know, that everybody starts there, no matter who you are. It's what you do after that that makes us each individuals. You know, not everybody can shoot a basket like Michael Jordan. Not everybody can shoot a puck like Wayne Gretzky or throw a football like Tom Brady. But, you know, everybody can do something. What that is, you just got to find your way. You know, and if you're out there trying to make content and, you know, you're talking about the things you love, that's the one thing that I find the most when I watch different shows online or different reviews or different people talking, is that you can feel the passion when people are passionate. You know, and that's the important thing is you know, do the things you're passionate about, not the things that, you know, you think. When you start catering to mass media and not caring about it entirely, then you've lost your way a little bit.
Yep.
You know, can you do that? Absolutely. But, you know, just because you're a big channel doesn't mean you have to cater to every niche, every topic. It doesn't work that way.
There's a reason,
you know,
why
I mean,
we cover what we cover. I mean, we could cover a lot more than what we do cover. We do cover a lot, all things considered. But, I mean, if we wanted the clicks, there's a lot more we could cover. Like, yeah, you're going to see us sometimes have impromptu streams specifically after The Mandalorian when it comes up in October, where, yeah, we're gonna record a live recap afterwards. Why? Because it's the most beneficial time, because YouTube, and whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's these stupid algorithms that are put in place that if you don't do something at a certain time, people don't see your content. And to me, it's not about clicks. Yeah, subscribers help. If you haven't yet, look down the bottom right-hand corner. There should be a subscribe button. Click the subscribe button to keep up to date on all of our content. Usually we're happy-go-lucky, just throwing jokes, throwing each other under the bus. Obviously a serious discussion topic tonight. But one of the reasons we do it is to grow our community. Like, it's just basic knowledge. I'll tell you right now, here's some tips for some YouTube really quickly before we let Tommy have his final say. One, if you want more people to subscribe, pre-producing content and shorter videos will get you more subscribers than any live stream. That's just fact. 2, if Mandalorian season 2, episode 1 comes out on Friday, don't wait until Thursday to do it. Do it immediately, and you'll get the views or clicks you're looking at. We don't always do that, though. We're trying to build a community here. There's a reason why I post every day in the Fandom Empire Den page. Could, you know, we really push things ahead and be like, yeah, okay, let's get to 20,000 subscribers by Christmas 2021. Yeah, will we be there? Probably not, because we're pretty selective about trying to build a community first. And I think that's important. Sorry, we gotta keep the ball rolling here. Tommy, final thoughts on this before we get to the fun stuff. Any advice for people out there that are, you know, continuing doing this, and maybe some final words to our friend who has gone, you know, basically has lost 3 friends in a show over this.
I think the both of you have really provided some great advice and everything you've said. Sean, I'm looking to specifically what you said about accountability. You know, accountability, it's not the golden rule, but it might as well be a golden rule. You know, you gotta stand for something. And if you can't stand for what you're throwing out there, then honestly, what you are, who you are, and what you want to be and who you want to be is just under complete question and scrutiny, as unfortunate as that is. It all comes back to what I was saying. People, we got to do better. We got to be better for each other. In these challenging times that we're in, especially, we got to do better for each other. We got to be better for each other. In doing and being better for one another, we're doing and being better for ourselves as well. I send all the love in the world out to our friend out there. Thoughts, prayers, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Okay, so this is how the final half an hour of this is going to work. We're going to talk Halloween. We're going to talk Star Wars. We're going to talk Supernatural. It's just going to be everywhere. Again, I'm going to bring this up again. If there was an episode to send your super chats in, this is the episode, because we're going to redirect them towards him, and he's going to have the ability to have a bit of a financial startup for what he's gone through. Yeah, I get it. It's not the same as like a GoFundMe for a funeral or a sick person. They're not even close to the same circumstances. But if we can help someone else out, and money's not everything, but if we can help someone else out, then we're going to do that. So let's focus on some fandom topics now, guys, and turn our attention over there. But before we do, let's advertise what is coming up on the channel. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I sit down one-on-one with Nick Push from Nick Push's Horror Channel, and we're going to talk Halloween Kills and basically everything else under the sun about Halloween, and a little bit about the YouTube game too and how it works. So Nick Push is on tomorrow night, and we've had this plan for a while. That's going to be a fun one. And then Saturday night, since Johnny hates Halloween 2, as he said, it's one of his least favorite. No wonder it took some hits in the rankings video. Pardon me. Oh, I'm being told that I need to address my health. I'll address that in a sec. Hang on. All right. Well, I guess I got to do that. Anyway, First of all, hang on. I got to go back in the chat and read what Frank Riker said. Johnny was like fading half in and half out, and Frank Riker said, "Johnny, are your parents in danger of not getting together like in Back to the Future because you're fading away?" And now Frank Riker says, "Go fund me for Johnny's prosthetic arm." Frank, man,
he wins for the Back to the Future joke.
Frank's got to do stand-up comedy. I'm sorry, he just has to. We'll get him his own show right here on Fandom Empire. Little fucking thing. Intel Weil, can we... Oh, see, Intel, here's the problem, man. Is you super chat the channel a ton. And we appreciate the support. And I appreciate what you did for Dave earlier, too. That's great. But if I tell you how I really feel about the Lakers being up 17 at half, you might not want to super chat the channel anymore. So maybe I'll just keep that to myself because your super chats help keep this channel going on the level that it does.
I'd counter that, and it'd be okay because we'd be net neutral on Lakers.
I'll still keep my mouth shut. Anyways, so again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Nick Push on the channel talking all things Halloween and YouTube. And then Saturday night, we're doing our first, it's newly titled, our first Hollywood movie night watch-along. And it's going to be Halloween 2. And I'm going to have my cousin, who is a huge Halloween fan. It's where my passion for Halloween came from. He's going to be in studio here. And Tommy B is going to join us. And Jade as well might be on the stream. And the four of us are going to watch Halloween 2 while Johnny's off secretly watching My Bloody Valentine 3D in the closet.
That is not going to happen. No. Just no.
Again, the last half of the show, guys, we're talking Halloween, Supernatural, Star Wars. Intel's mad. Hey, Intel, I was a huge Kobe fan, though, dude. I was all about Kobe. Thoughts and prayers to his family, too. I seen a really moving photo today of Paul Gasol on his boat with Kobe's kid, and that definitely hit the heartstrings a bit. I'm just saying Allen Iverson in his prime was better.
Whoa!
Anyway,
Whoa! Those are fighting words.
had a lot less to work with too.
Well, okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right. I will take early 2000s Shaq over early 2000s Dikembe any day of the week.
Yeah, I think so. Not to mention, I could literally hit more free throws than Dikembe Mutombo ever had, and that's not a lie.
Okay, but I can hit as many free throws as Shaq has, so that's not a fair comparison.
True. Valid. So anyways, send your questions in, guys. Send your super chats. Supernatural, Star Wars, Halloween, Marvel, DC, name it. Send them all in right now, and we'll answer them all. But before we do that, let's just address this health issue. So I was the knucklehead that posted on social media that I had a IV in my arm and I was at the hospital. Naturally, when you do that, people that care tend to reach out or have discussions with you. Or what I didn't expect is how many people that follow this channel, who I haven't known for very long, to reach out and ask what's going on. And I didn't really give you guys a full answer. And, you know, some people will jump to the conclusion that, and I prefer to look at it as, you know, a glass half full than empty. But some people just assume, hey, you're out of the hospital, everything's good, right? And the truth is no, not everything's good. So to recap this a bit, in 2016, even at my young age, not so young anymore, I went through a battle with prostate cancer. Telling people was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It was one of the hardest parts of my life. There are people that I know closely who may or may not want to acknowledge this, have had to deal with their own family members' issues with cancer. You know, even though my family's not close, it's true that when you get cancer, the family gets cancer. It's not just one person. It affects family. It affects teammates. It affects everybody. And I sit here today a little emotional because, no, I can't confirm to you that I have cancer because it's not the case as of yet. But I can tell you that I have 2 cysts, which are considered dangerous, in a not great spot in my body, along with a benign cyst, which would be a third one, and a skin issue that's going on right now that is, it's basically really hard to get out of bed some days. I have a hard time getting down on my floor and playing with my kid. I have opted out of, Johnny knows I'm a big sports guy. I have opted out of sports, not because of COVID, because I feel like they put enough restrictions in place for softball to be able to play safely. I opted out because for the first time in my life, my body is just, it can't do it. Tommy has been incredibly supportive, even though he has a weird smile on his face as I'm saying all this.
Because you said it, buddy.
I'm trying not to be emotional here. I got to go see a few specialists, guys. They gave me a reason to be optimistic, but at the end of the day, they did say it's very serious. I have a wife upstairs who's very emotional about this. And, you know, she knew what she was getting into. And I can tell you that the issues I'm going through now are not related to the issues that I went through in 2016. So I'm hopeful. I'm taking the right procedures. I'm here. Phantom Empire's here. When I know more, each and every one of you will know more after my family and team and friends know more. But I thank you for your well wishes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Every day is getting a little harder physically. It doesn't matter how much of the good, 420 stuff I have. There's only so much you can take of that. And working in the transportation industry, you can't take that while driving. So that's out. And yeah, so it's an issue. We're dealing with it. Obviously, during COVID, there's only certain surgeries that can be done, at least up here. And we're gonna see what happens here. I'm confident that we're gonna figure it out. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm not scared. because I am, even having gone through something like this, I have an almost 8-month-old son upstairs that I intend to be here for a long time, to make sure he doesn't cheer for shitty teams like the Packers and the Lakers and picks his teams right. So,
you want him to pick teams that have never won championships in any point in the last several decades.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's it, guys. I apologize. I probably should have thought twice before putting it out on social media. I'm definitely not looking for attention. I have plenty of that already, as I told the wife when I finally got home. I didn't even want to talk about it. So, anyways, and yeah, what Toronto Freddy said. Let's get some more fucking likes up on this stream. Let's go back and read some of these super chats, okay? Because I don't think we've read one of them yet. We'll read the super chats and get to the fandom chat. So if you want to send in some more super chats, now's the time to do so. If you want to send in some regular chats about any of the things we cover fandom, now's the time to do so. Let's do this. Intel Wild for you, buddy. Intel Wild for for your buddy. Intel Wild for Fandom Empire. Intel Wild for your friend in need. My Lakers are up 27-19, end of the first. Sorry, I'm a hardcore Lakers fan. Apologies to you for that, Intel. Robert Sutton, just because it's appreciated, Robert. Frank Riker, $20 for a better start. I know what it's like, but when doors close, other doors open even wider than before. Sometimes we see people for what they really are too late, but there are more people out there who got your back. Bingo, Frank. Don't get me wrong. I love all your, random weird-ass shit you say, whether it's about Johnny's missing arm and Back to the Future stuff, or you naked in a bathtub full of oatmeal and Cheetos or whatever. Love all that, but that's really well said from the heart there. Great shit. Intel Wild for the F-bombs and Phantom Empire. Long live Phantom Empire. This will be a day long remembered. It has seen the... Oh, nope, that's Star Wars. For the wife, dog, and cat. It's cats. I'm stuck with 4 fucking cats. If anybody wants some, maybe I'll raffle some off.
Don't pretend you're stuck with them.
Oh, no, dude, I've had it with cats. I'm done. This
it's
batch
a day
of cats.
ending. I hear this rant every year, at least once, going back 20 years.
Wow. Intel Wild, $2 for Tommy B. Big happy face. He loves himself some Tommy B. Intel Wild again for your buddy. Can we talk Lakers up by 17 at half? Intel Wild again. Shots fired about Kobe and Iverson, but seriously, I saw the Gasol pick on the boat today with Kobe's daughter. Man, if that pick doesn't make your heart warm but sad at the same time, I don't know what will. You're just a cold human being if you don't think that like that, in my opinion. Toronto Freddy, our boy, Toronto Freddy. Fuck cancer. Yep. Fuck cancer. And there he is, Mask Maker Mike. How's it going, dude? Those masks are almost ready to be shipped out. Obviously, we're probably not going to be using USPS and Jade over my... I better not say that after what I just talked about. But we're not getting another kitty. It's not happening. We'll get to chat questions in a second. Again, if there's a time to fire them in, now's the time to do so, whether the chats or super chats, you name it. Guys, let's dive into this a bit. Supernatural, let's start there. Supernatural, 7 episodes left, coming to an end. It finally is coming to an end. I believe it starts, let me pull up my handy-dandy calendar. October 8th, and it ends November 19th with a 2-hour special event. 7 episodes. We are at the end of our glorious show after a decade and a half. It's finally coming to an end. And as I said to someone in a text message the other day, I'm again, poor choice of words considering what I just talked about. It literally feels like part of me is dying inside with the idea of, excuse me, that these things are finally, this show is finally coming to an end. Like, I think once we see, get through a couple of these episodes, it's finally going to register. Like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Now, Intel says going to get another one. No, we're not, Intel. Let me tell you something, Intel. I know what you did for Dave earlier, and I know some of the super chats that you sent in here. There is not a super chat big enough for you to convince me to get another cat. There just isn't. There might be super chats big enough to get these two on the side to get cats, but not me, sir. Not happening.
I love cats. I would definitely get more if I could, but my complex only allows 2, which we have, and we feed a stray. Sometimes there are others hanging out there. I think Sean should get another cat.
No. Frank Riker, I'll get a cat when it teaches.
That'd be your 5th one, right?
It would be 5, and it's not happening. It can't happen. I have a hard time keeping up with 4. It's just ugh.
Yeah, I think you've been outvoted.
Look, the chat can outvote me 37.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the chat.
Well, if you're talking about Jade, then
Yeah, you're outvoted.
she can suck it. There, I said it. Yeah, I said it on air. Anyway, Frank says...
Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're about to see a murder.
Frank says, man, this channel is a pocket of rainbows tonight. He also says, I'll get a cat when it teaches me to put my leg over my head. Oh, shit. Frank.
I mean, are you just looking for the flexibility? Or what's your end game
what
here?
He's looking for.
What's
That
your
isn't
end
what
game
he's
here,
looking for.
pal?
Frank, let me tell you something. There's more of a chance of me getting another cat before another kid. You guys are encouraging some very bad things that I don't condone right now.
You've officially been outvoted in your house 2-1. Sorry, dude, you lose.
No, just no.
Yeah.
Not happening. Anyways, guys, we got this little nugget of information, which I want to take some time to dissect because Thomas and I didn't get a chance to go over it the other day. So this is what it's been. Uh-oh. That was close.
Death to Sage.
You see this? Foreign object comes in the room and almost takes my fucking nose off.
Could have been a lot worse. It could have been, on the end of a giant pointy stick.
Let's talk some Supernatural, then we'll get into some Halloween, maybe end with some Star Wars. For those that have never watched Supernatural, you're going to have a chance to watch it while you follow our new YouTube show and along Supernatural Revisited, which is going to launch at the beginning of September. We have a wonderful show starting Wednesday nights right here on the channel, 9 o'clock Eastern, I believe it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over the whole series as time goes. We're going to review 2 episodes of Supernatural for each episode of Supernatural Revisited. And for season premieres and season finales, we're going to do live watch-alongs, except for the first one. We don't want the first show to be a live watch-along. That's just a little weird. So you're going to be able to follow this series. If you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of mystery, even drama, maybe even some aspects of religion, hunts, you name it. This is a show for you, or just great on-screen chemistry. I can tell you that we've turned, probably 8 or 9 of our normal listeners onto Supernatural who are absolutely loving this series. It's ending. Now's the time to binge. Maybe don't binge at the level Toronto Freddy did, because I didn't know that was humanly possible.
What's the level that Freddy binged at?
I think he did 15 seasons in a month.
I'm sorry, you don't think that's humanly possible?
No.
I think those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those up.
No.
You can do a season a day, bro.
No.
How many episodes? How many episodes are in a season on average? 23, right?
Yeah. Mike in the chat.
How can you do that in a day?
He just stays up to 24 hours and sleeps the next day, I guess.
Holy hell!
Because they're 41 minutes per episode. Like, it's not a full 24-hour thing. It's
close.
Okay, come on now.
It's close.
Yeah, but not really.
Do you eat, sleep, and use the bathroom, or what?
No, he has his suit he wears. It takes care of it all. Yeah, it's his own self-made DeLorean suit.
Why a DeLorean suit?
I don't know. I was just making reference to what Frank said earlier. Anyway, well, you
Awful
probably
reference.
would need time travel to do this in the amount of time that you're suggesting. Anyway, Mike in the chat asks, you ever watch Walking Dead? Yes, when The Walking Dead first started, I think it was one of the best shows on TV. I think it has gone way downhill since. One of our, he used to be a main host on this channel. He's more so just an advisor here now. Hollywood Rebel and I used to talk Walking Dead a lot, and I imagine whenever the new season comes back, you'll see a standalone video or two with him and I breaking down some Walking Dead stuff. We'll also have some Walking Dead countdowns on the channel too, but it's nothing that's going to be our main priority on the channel. So, anyways, guys, let's address this. Been trying to get to it now. Keep getting sidetracked. So this news has come out. So there's 20 episodes in this season, and they've said episode 19, in fact, is basically the season finale, and episode 20 is the series finale. In most cases, it's usually tied together and done in one episode or one extended episode, but they're pretty adamant about episode, and this isn't from like Hollywood Reporter or Variety. This is from the people that are making the show. Episode 19 is your season finale, and episode 20 is your series finale. How do we feel about that? Tommy, off to you first.
Honestly, I'm a little conflicted. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've spoken about this before. I would just like this to end. In one sense, because we've been waiting for so long because of the way things are. However, I can't help but have the worry that this is going to end in an extremely rushed fashion, and many of us are going to feel very underwhelmed, skeptical, and overall displeased with the ending. I mean, what's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing we can really do about it, of course. But it just feels like, with this piece of news that it's going to be rushed. And I have concerns about that. What about you, Johnny?
Well, I mean, I'm perfectly okay with it, because my big concern for this season that we've had has been that it doesn't feel like a final season. It just feels like any other regular run-of-the-mill season, and that's just the antithesis of Supernatural, I mean, when you go into the final season, I expect Supernatural would basically do the victory lap. That in their final season would be just that, going back, revisiting not just favorite characters, but favorite stories and
where they are now,
and favorite monsters and things of that nature. And it hasn't been. It's just been a mediocre, I almost want to say piss poor season. It's because it's been average.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been piss poor, but I'm with you on mediocre. I was not a fan of season 14, with the exception of the finale. I thought the finale was one of the better finales we've ever gotten. I wasn't a fan of 14. I liked where we started with 15. It felt like we were going that way in the first 3 episodes. And then there was an episode or two that's also along the lines of that, where it's like, oh, okay, maybe, this is feeling like final season stuff, but the rest of it's just kind of eh. And now we have 7 episodes left. We know they only had time to change 2 of them. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of a Tommy. I'm expecting to be disappointed here, guys. I am. And now we know that they had to go back and do pretty significant rewrites due to COVID. And that certain people might not have been available to appear that were supposed to appear. Which means you're not even going to get the fucking ending you were supposed to get. And for me, I would have rather them wait. I said it. Release the 5 episodes and then go back and do the other 2 whenever you can, even if you have to do like a one-night special that happens a year from now. The idea that we're not going to get a proper ending now, at least not the intended ending, is frustrating. Tommy knows I've been on this for years. So semi-spoiler alert here, people. If we don't find out what the hell happened to our Bobby, not fake Otherworld Bobby, our Bobby, by the end of this thing, it is going to be one of the biggest missteps in television history and a direct slap in the face to the SPN family. Hopefully, they're smart enough to, figure that out in the last 7 episodes.
I mean, I don't know if I can go that far to that specific story element, but I mean, you're not wrong. It's definitely a story that I don't want to be left dangling, because it is such one of those story elements that you want closure to, and I don't know if I'd be surprised if we don't get it. Just as I don't know if I'd be surprised if we did get it. Do I want the answer? Absolutely.
I think you have to have a character like that. Like, you have to at least address it, even if it's not like it's Bobby, for fuck's sakes. Until Cass, character number 3. Even after Cass, I'd argue character number 4 ahead of Crowley in terms of importance to this series.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as he was established, he was, he's the father. That's a fact. That's a reality.
If I remember correctly, I think he came in at the tail end of season 1.
Yes.
Last few episodes, and pretty much from that time forward, he was always around. Not in every episode, but in most episodes through season 6, season 7.
He didn't really start getting fully prominent until, I'd say, about halfway through season 2.
Who are we talking about?
Bobby.
Bobby's prominent at the beginning of season 2, right off the bat.
But not to the same degree, because the first half you still had the Roadhouse.
Quickly before we continue here, Robert Sutton and Intel both taking off for the night. Big thanks to Intel again for supporting the channel on the level that he does, and everybody else that sent in super chats tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Sorry that you're taking off before we get to a little Halloween talk, Intel, but I understand. And you too, Robbie. Toronto Freddy also said he thought we found out what happened to Bobby. No, we didn't. Last we seen, he got in trouble with those that were up in heaven, and they escorted him off. That's the last we've seen of Bobby. So we await what is happening or happened to our Bobby. So
if I remember correctly, I feel like there was a mid-season trailer or season trailer for season 15, which led us to think we were going to be getting an answer. What we saw was probably, not what we were thinking of, not what we hoped, but we kind of took that as that's going to be an indication of the answer. Is what I'm saying, does that ring any bells in your mind, either of you two? No? You don't remember seeing Bobby in a trailer of some sorts?
Oh, sorry, this season, yeah, but it ended up being a quick little, the alternate reality thing they did in the one episode where him and, it's Otherworld Bobby and Jody, and they come in trying to kill the boys, where the boys have become vampires or some shit like that, so... they gotta have an ending to that. Like, I understand if we don't see John again. John had one hell of a return. I think it was 2 seasons ago now. That was amazing.
I'm done with John. I'm completely satisfied with what they've done.
We're
not going to get that big endgame ending. I don't think it's too late at this point. So,
well, we'll have to. We'll have to see what happens. We will. Shift gears here to Halloween. And I'm excited to be talking Halloween 2 on Saturday and watching Halloween 2. I haven't seen Halloween 2 in a couple of years. I like Halloween 2. We're going to put Johnny on the hot spot here. Why don't you like Halloween 2?
I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing I can point to and be like, well, that's the reason I don't like it. It just, I don't know what I can't really quantify what I don't like it. It's not one that I ever enjoyed. Maybe it's just when I watched it and that I haven't watched it as many times as some of the other ones, but yeah, it never hit for me. Like it missed the mark, and I don't really know why it missed the mark, or I can't point to specific moments and say that's why I don't like it. It just, when I think of that movie, it's meh.
Wait for this one. Ryan Kinney in the chat. Hey guys, how's it going? I just got from Walmart wearing my 1978 Halloween t-shirt, and Guy sees me and says, hell yeah, I love the shirt. Isn't a new one coming out? I hope Rob Zombie's doing it. And Frank Riker says, come on, Johnny, boobs, hot tub, boobs, and atmosphere.
And those are fantastic things, but I can get boobs and atmosphere and a whole lot of other things in much higher quantities.
Oh, wow. Tommy, you've seen Halloween 2 relatively recently. What did you think of it as a sequel to the original?
First, I want to speak to the Halloween 1978 shirt thing, because that for a while in some Halloween groups and circles, that was a big thing because Walmart was pushing and peddling them when they were doing like a mod changeover. I'm wondering if anyone in the chat ever went out of their way to go get their Walmart $7-8 1978 shirt. I did.
Walmart in Canada sucks, so that wasn't an option up here.
No, it wasn't an option. Well, that does suck a lot. Yeah, I managed to go get mine. It was great. I saw Halloween 2 right after I saw 2018. Prior to those two films, my sit down for those two, I had watched 78 for like a revisit. I've seen it many times prior to that, and I saw 2 prior to this. Maybe like a couple days, maybe a week prior. When I saw Halloween 2, I definitely enjoyed 2018 more. However, I will say that 2 offers a few things that you don't get out of the 2018 experience. While I'll say that 2018 is, in my opinion, the better sequel, I like 2 for continuity.
Duck! Toronto Freddy's coming for you!
I like 2 for continuity. Yet you feel like you're just watching the same movie. It's made with basically the same technology of the time.
I like what our Patreon member here in the chat, Greg says. He says Halloween 2 is a bummer because Michael walks way different, and it's obvious that it's a different Michael. I do agree that Mr. Dick in the Box, Dick Warlock, is not the same as Nick Castle. I'm right there with you. Frank Riker says, you guys got a mic. I'm assuming he means you guys got to give Michael some credit for his walking in part 2. He does have 7 bullets in him. You try walking. That's fair. I shot him 6 times.
Walking out of there on fire.
Yeah. Oh, well, that too. So that too. Oh my God, Jade. Jade says Frank 50 Cent did it. Oh man. One's a movie and one's a real life. Michael Myers says, comes to think of it, I shouldn't probably attend the next couple of streams. Well, Michael, we got Nick Push tomorrow and the watch along on Saturday. You can attend what you want. Just when we were dealing with the sensitive issue earlier, I think that it deserved the attention at that time. I don't mind you coming in here doing your thing otherwise. Also, had this question asked a couple of times. Dead meat in the chat. Are you the actual dead meat, or are you a different dead meat? Are you the very popular Dead Meat, which has a YouTube channel that tons of people follow? Or are you someone pretending to be Dead Meat, which just sort of sounds weird? Yeah. And Frank says Michael's gangster, Jade. We'll have to see. Is what it is. And in shocking news, the New York Knicks have lost another NBA lottery. Well,
nothing good should happen to that franchise. They're bad.
Yeah.
No point in ruining another great player's career like they're gonna ruin RJ Barrett.
Yes, it is what it is. Anyways, last but not least, let's touch on some Star Wars before we end here. He says he is the legit Dead Meat. Sadly, it doesn't let me click on it on here. I'm going to take your word for it, though, dude. And if you are, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, man.
I hate that, how we can't always click on people in the chat.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Bull.
It's frustrating. But if he says he's the legit Dead Meat, I believe him until proven otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, again, Nick Push on tomorrow, talking all things Halloween, 8 o'clock Eastern, and then on Saturday, it's the Halloween 2 watch along with Tommy B, myself, possibly Jade, and my cousin will be over here, and that'll be some fun, interesting times. Anyway, Star Wars, guys, Mandalorian trailer is apparently coming soon. Who knows when? Let's bring it full circle here. We've had this discussion before. At the end of the day, what do we need out of a Mandalorian Season 2 trailer? What do we need as fans, and what do they need to deliver to have a big-time hype trailer? For me, given all the appearances that are already confirmed, I think you need a little bit of everything. Don't show too much, but quick flashes of Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth, quick flashes of Boba Fett, quick flashes of Ahsoka, and then some focus on the people that we do know. You know, John Carlos Esposito and the Mando himself and Baby Yoda. You know.
And I'm muted.
You
Did
are
you just say John Carlos Esposito?
Maybe I got the name wrong. Is that not it?
No, that's not it. Giancarlo, as in like Giancarlo Stanton. One word.
Oh.
John Carlos.
Oh, okay. Well, close enough. Close enough. It is Esposito, though, right?
Yes, you got that part right.
All right. Nitpicking, my friend. Nitpicking.
I think that's a pretty good nit to pick.
What do you need out of this trailer?
I need it to exist.
Hasn't happened yet.
No, I mean I'm not picky. You know, I'm already sold. You know, you don't need to really do much to get me hype and get me excited. I mean, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's really all I need, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. You know, don't spoil anything major. I mean, I guess that's my one thing. I don't want you to spoil anything. Don't do that. You know, because that's how you ruin things. You know.
Also, it would appear that is the actual Dead Meat, the guy that does the awesome countdowns, 4 million subscribers. Hey, Dead Meat, just saying, if you wanna give our channel a shout out, considering the content we covered, feel free. I'm sure that would have the subscribers flooding over here. Hey, I think that at the end of the day, all communities need to help other communities grow. It's easy to be like, well, if you do this for me, then I'll do that for you. But we've never been like that. At the end of the day, we try to help people grow. We're small time. Dead Meat wants to give us a shout out. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'm sure subscribers would flood over if he did a short little thing. If not, I totally respect that too. Dude, love your content and love what you do. Great shit. Again, apologize for doubting you. I think whenever anybody sees, oh, hey, that's that fucking YouTube channel that has 4 million subscribers and does all that stuff. When it comes to the horror countdowns and kill counts and all that, you probably think, well, why are they in here watching our stuff? But at the end of the day, if not, we respect what you do. Great stuff, dude. Great stuff. Tommy B, what do you need out of a Mando season 2 trailer. Ugh.
I could dig if they show us off some of the characters we've been talking about for a while now. They're going to be featured. We don't need to see them all. Don't reveal everything, but give us Ahsoka. Give us. Boba Fett. We talked a while back about potentially maybe a voice thing. That'd be cool. I'd like to see a little shot where we see the child like doing a little hand, waving it around, using maybe a little bit of force.
Going around
force
doing
push.
DX suck it signs. The child.
But you know,
Chalk
at
that
the
up
end
as
of
a
the
big
day,
no.
don't stretch it too much. Keep it focused on the main characters. Keep it within the series, those who this is going to be about. Don't stretch it to make it about these characters who, while we're excited to see them, they aren't going to be the focus of the whole story. That's what comes down to for me.
I'm with you, dude. I am absolutely 110% with you as we get ready to close out this episode. I seen what Dead Meat said. He said, "Who knows? I might drop $100 donation." I mean this with all due respect. I'm sure that would help our friend that we spoke about at the beginning of the video. I'd honestly rather a shout out than a donation, dude. You're as you know, as notable as it comes on YouTube. And if you're willing to give us a shout out, that'd be great. Not going to sit here and beg for it, though. We've gotten a long way with very, some help from others, but just on our own work too. And I've had some tech help from other people for sure. But if you want to give us a shout out, that'd be great. If not, I understand it, dude. Totally get it. Everybody's got to earn their way one way and or another. That's up to you. I do know this though. I know there was a Game of Thrones channel one time. I used to watch it all the time in like the final 2 seasons. Talking Thrones, I think it is. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers. He would have back and forth with this little channel that had some, cool input for them. And literally, he gives the little channel a shout out in one of his videos. He records a quick little 3-minute video, puts it up on his channels, pointing people to go to subscribe to their channel. Within 48 hours, the other channel that had like 2,000 subscribers was at almost 20,000. That's how much his fan base trusted in his word. So I have seen Dead Meat in the chat in here before. It's not like this is the first time, but that's up to Dead Meat. Donations are encouraged too, but YouTube and Google like to take a bunch of that. Shout out would be great. If not, is what it is. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of what I would classify as one of our most important streams ever. Number-wise, is it our most successful? No, but at the end of the day, we address topics that are very serious going on in the world right now and with someone close to us. And Jesse makes it right at the last second. Better late than never, Jess. Hope your night went well, dude. Anyway, at the end of the day, we addressed a really serious topic here tonight where somebody was really put through a form of emotional abuse and abandonment here. And we addressed how difficult it can be online when entering a YouTube or podcast or social media community, and that you're really entering a toxic cesspool. Not everyone's like that. But like Frank said earlier in the night, sometimes you don't know someone until something like that happens, or you think you know someone and then something like that happens. The shit that they went through, the issues we addressed here tonight, I'm not going to say they're unforgivable, but someone needs to right some wrongs, and we feel for this person, and hopefully the $189, which will end up probably being closer to about $110 after deductions, goes a bit of a way to helping them start their own thing. Anyways, again, thank you to everybody who participated in the chat and super chatted tonight and addressed these serious issues. They mean a lot to us. And it's cool to come on here and talk Halloween and Supernatural and Star Wars and other horror content. But today, more serious issues needed to be addressed. We addressed online communities. we addressed integrity, and we addressed accountability, 3 things that I think need to be addressed at times. We now have people in the chat trying to encourage Dead Meat to give us a shout out. Appreciate it, guys. We love the community we built here. We're small, but we're growing. And tonight, I think we did something for someone who truly needed it. And again, this community just amazes me. Whether Dead Meat, ends up doing something for us or not, that's up to him. But to everybody in the channel that did anything tonight, or even just listened, and were able to better understand how things work in this neck of the woods, greatly appreciated, guys. Means the world. And to those of you that reached out about my personal health issues, they are what they are. Greatly appreciated. It's very moving to know you guys care. And again, we'll be back. Don't forget, check us out. Instagram, Fandom Empire Now, Camp Haddonfield Podcast. And actually, it's Star Wars IRB now. And then on Twitter, it's at Fandom Empire, at SW Renegades, and at Star Wars IRB. Don't forget, starting, I don't have the date in front of me. Is September 2nd? I think it's the 2nd. Maybe it's the 1st. As I stall for time here. Where's my calendar? September the 1st. September the 1st. The first episode of the Imperial Remnant broadcast, our brand new Star Wars show right here on YouTube. We're going to sit down with the guys from the Rogue Sons podcast, who are now permanent members of Fandom Empire and that new show, Kieran and Thaden. The 3 of us will join them, and we'll take a deep dive into Star Wars and do that. Then the following night, Supernatural Revisited launches. Good stuff. And also in September, Fandom Empire Live moves to Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That'll be where you're able to see Fandom Empire Live episodes. We'll still do impromptu episodes and watch-alongs and all that stuff coming up more. Nick pushes tomorrow night, guys, 8 o'clock Eastern. Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. Hollywood Movie Night watch-along with Halloween 2. Johnny, thanks for doing this tonight, man. Important issues. You address them well. I know they hit close to home because you went through similar stuff just like I did. Thank you for this, man. It truly means the world.
It's been good. It's been good. I'm not gonna say fun because that's.
I was gonna say that's your outro. It's been good.
It's been good. You know, it's not a fun topic to talk about, but it's something that we all need to do more of.
Tommy B.
Yeah, it was my privilege to be on here, come lend a voice, lend a little bit of a witness to what needs to be said. I don't have the answers in the world. At minimum, I can listen. If you ever want someone to chat with, feel more than free to reach out, give me a holler. You can find me on Facebook, floating around our groups and pages. Other socials, Twitter, Instagram, at TommyB1650. More than happy to chat as needed, as desired.
Well, I suppose that is going to do it for us, guys. For everybody else here at Fandom Empire, everybody that sent in messages, everybody that sent in super chats, and just helped out with tonight's stream, we thank you. For Johnny and Tommy B, I'm Sean. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take it easy. Good night, everybody.